Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel Mainframe Girls. In the last video, I have explained you what is a non-VSAM dataset and the types of non-VSAM dataset. But before creating a non-VSAM dataset, there are some specifications or attributes which we have to know to create a non-VSAM dataset. So I'll be explaining you what are some of the attributes of a non-VSAM dataset in this particular video. To create a basic dataset, we need to fill some of the details before giving an enter or before creating a dataset. So here we have space units, we have data class, device type, volume serial, storage class, and management class. Normally, for a basic dataset, when we create it, we give a basic units that are, we give space unit that are blocks, tracks, or cylinders. We give that, and we give primary space quantity, secondary space quantity, directory blocks if it is a PDS file, and we give a record format, which type of the file you should be creating, like which type of file you need, what type of file is an input file, what type of file is an output file, and what type of file it is taking, if it is taking as an input, means if it is taking as data, and record length of that file, block size of that file, and which type of file you're creating, like library, PDS, a normal PS file. So these are the basic informations which you have to give while creating a dataset, a basic non-VSAM dataset. So today I'll explain you what is record format in this video. As I told you, we'll learn about record format, but before learning about record format, we have to know what is block size. So consider this is a data. Okay, this is a data, and you will be data, this is a set of data, means, and the data will be going into this like this, one by one, one by one, one by one. Then again a new data will be coming, and again a new data will be coming, like one by one. When data is coming, it, what is the maximum length of one data, like what is the maximum size of one data, is block size. So maximum length in bytes of a data block is block size. Means if data is some 20 bytes, that would be its block size. If data is some 10 bytes, that would be its block size. So like that. So what is the maximum? So maximum size of a data is the block size. Okay, so the must be a multiple of record size and no more than 3. So remember that the maximum of data can be only 32,760 bytes. Okay, so 32,765 is the maximum bytes of data, means at a one set of data can go into a data set at once, means that is a packet, that packet of data can go into one data set. So okay, when there is block C, block size is inversely proportional to the input output, so IOs. Okay, so how it will be is, if the block size, if the block size is more, okay, if the block size is more, there won't be a, if the data is more, there won't be a more input output transactions happening. Okay, so it will be easier for IOs or the devices to be taking the data easily. If the block size is less, okay, when if the block size is less, what happens, more IOs has to be taken, more times you have to call the dash d, more times you have to call the volumes, more time you have to put the data in it, or taking out the data or putting out the data, anything. If the block size, if the data block is a bigger one, only at a one stretch you can get out the data out of the volume. Okay, so and the limitation is block size should not be more than a 2 GB. So other one here is record length. It is a part of a block size. So as I told you, if this is the data block, if this is a data block will be having records in it. Means if the data is going into a data block, this is a part of one record, this is one record, this is one record, like that. If this is a data block, in that we'll be having a parts called record. So the basic unit in a data block would be a record. So that length, this length which defines, this length is record length. Means while creating a data set, means while creating a normal data set or PS or PDS or any of the data sets, we will be specifying these values. We want, it's like example simply, we want the block size should be this much, means the data block should be this much size, and the data in it, means the records in it, should be these many bytes. Like that, while specifying or creating a data set, we give that information in it. So now you have known what is record length and what is block size. Now, the next thing you have to know is how the records are being arranged in a block. That is what is a record format, which describes the way of records organized. So, think that this is a data block, which is a block, okay? And the data can be, the records can be all of same size, and if this is a data block, records can be of different size. One could be a smaller one could be a bigger one could be so smaller one. And there's another chance where a block size would be an equals to a record length. It can be a block size, it can be a record length. The same size of a record, which is equals to a block size. So there are many types. Okay, as I told you, the blocking, why we are doing blocking. So the basic unit is record. So the data we get in a record format only. But why we are mixing up the records to make one block? So the blocking helps us with an input output processing, so that the DASD or so the devices, the it would process faster. So that is the reason we do a faster, for faster processing, we do this blocking thing, so that the more data could go at one at a time into the into out, means outside to the transaction, or into the device, or outside to the device. So whatever the transactions happening, if there is a blocking process is there, means the setting up, means if more records are set up in a block, that would be an easy IO transactions happening. That's the reason we are doing this blocking thing. Okay, and another reason is there are how means how a file needs an input, means different files needs an input in a different way. Some may need a lump sum of data, some may need a less data, some data would be very small and some data would be very big. So in that way we could block, we could add up all the records to make one block. So here we have some types, which are fixed, second variable, third undefined. So there could be a fixed blocking, there could be a variable blocking, and an undefined one. So we'll see, here comes the first type in the record format, that is fixed. As I told you, there could be a blocks where the record length would be equals to the block size. In the fixed it is same. If this is a record, and that would be equals to block, and record and block are same, means the data packets, whatever the data packets you're getting, the same data packets would be a block size and record. Means when you are giving, when you are specifying f fixed, means while there you don't give fixed in that panel where I showed you before, you have to give f. So if you are giving f, and if you are giving that f as 80, and the blocks will also be, means if you are giving record length as 80 and the block size will also be 80, means if the data, whatever the data is coming into the volume or into the device where you're storing the data, there the record length and the block size will be more, it will be equal, and which implies that IOs will be more, because less record length, so more IOs. So we prefer this less. So next comes fixed block. So that here, as I told you, we are blocking, means we are grouping up some of the records. So here it is like, this is a blocks and these are the records of same size. All are of same size. All blocks, all records will be of same size. And here how the math works is, if the record length is 80, then if suppose this is the block, think that the record length is 80 and the block size you should specify as multiples of 80. That is, it could be 2, which gives 160. It could be 3, which gives 240. So like that. So if you are specifying FB as a record format, and you should specify, and you will specify record length as 80, and um, the block size should be multiples of 80. It should be 160, 240, 800, 8000, whatever you're giving, it should be multiple of 80. And here, as this is a fixed block, here the data set will be in blocks and fixed, right? So whatever, see this, and data will be coming is, suppose you have, example, you have specified 80 here. Example, how the math works is, suppose if you have specified record length as 80, so think that this is the data block. Okay, so this, you have specified 80 as record length and block size as 160. So this block size will be 160 bytes, and which will be taking two records, that would be 80, 80. And the next pack, the data pack will be coming like this again, 160 block size with two records, 80, 80. Again third, in the same manner. So here you will be getting data in a fixed block of 160 bytes data. Okay, so and we have a disadvantage here. The disadvantage here is, suppose if this is your block size, and you are writing data in it, and you need only 45 lines of data, and you wrote till 45, and this remaining space, whatever this remaining space is there, it is wasted. You cannot use this space. Means again, if the next data is coming, it will go here, and again, so the next record will start with another. So if the data is coming, it will come in another fixed block size. So that's how a fixed and the fixed block record format will work. Next type of record format is variable. In variable, the block size, like previously we mentioned, the block size is 80 and the record length should be 80. It's, and all the data whatever coming into the devices will be in the same format. But here it's not like that. If the first block is of 80, and the second will be 90, and third will be 100, and fourth will be less than 100, it could be 90, like that. So, and here we have something called record descriptor word. So normally what I told you, the maximum is 32760, but the maximum of the record length will be 32760. But in the variable, here we have to mention that there is another type. Here we have something called RDW, record descriptor word, which will take first 4 bytes of the block or the record. As here the block size will be equals to a record size in a variable, but so here it will be RDW of 4 bytes, and in 4 bytes, the first 2 bytes will be the record length. Whatever the length of this record will be mentioned in the first 2 bytes, and the next 2 bytes, will be 0, 0, 0. That will be for spanned records. Okay, so this is for 0, 0, and this first will be consisting, this is RDW, it will be consisting record length. Okay, so what is the length of that block will be there in it. And another type here is variable block. Means here also there is a block data, but this block data will be of different sizes, but the data will be blocked inside. So it would be like this. Suppose this is a block data, and in this the data could be a smaller one, a bigger one, a smaller one. So it means the block size is not fixed like before. Here it is a variable blocks, variable records. Sorry, this will be a variable records. And if the next one could be, suppose this is 160 bytes, and the next one would be some 150 bytes. Okay, it will be like that. And here we have another parameter called block descriptor word. which is again 4 bytes. The first 4 bytes of a block will be a BDW, which will in which we have two types. One is extended and another one is non-extended. In extended, the first byte will be 0 and the next two bytes will be block length, and the last byte will be zeros, all zeros. Okay, and in non-extended, the first byte will be 1. Okay, and the next all bytes will be the record length. So here, that is why if you see, the bytes are, we have bytes are 32756 is the maximum bytes here. The reason why here is 32756 is the first 4 bytes are fixed for BDW. Okay, here comes the last record format, that is undefined. So this doesn't have any fixed means this doesn't have any RDW or BDW or a fixed block block size or record length. So here the block sizes would be, if this is one block, and the block size would be equals to record length. So if this is one block and another block, if suppose this is some 80 bytes block, and the next one would be an 100, a next one would be a 120, a next one would be a 90, a next one would be again an 80. So there isn't any proper defining for this. So normally this undefined is used for a load libraries and the object modules. These load libraries are some libraries which are not, you cannot define the size of those libraries. Okay, these are system files where the most system files will be there, which could extend inside, which could extend more, more data can go into it, more extension could happen. So at that time, so you cannot consist it to a particular size. You cannot ask it that file to be in this particular size. Then you define the particular files in an undefined format. This is a small picturization of how the record formats are. So if you see here, this is a only fixed record format, in which we know that the record size is equals to, sorry, block size is equals to record length. So if you see, all the record lengths are equals to block size in it. So next comes a fixed block, where we know that the block size is an integral multiple of the record length. So the block size, if you take the block size as, sorry, if you take the record length as 80, then the block size would be n into 80. So it would be like that. And why I am saying 80, 80, 80 again, because the minimum length of a block L record, the record length would be 80. So just remember that the minimum length would be an 80. Then again comes a variable, where you know that the first 4 bytes are for the RDW, record descriptor word. So the first 4, after that, then less the data length is the record length. So it will be sometimes equals to the block size, and it could be less than block size. So they are different. And after that we have variable block, where the data is again blocked, and you have 4 plus n, because it will be having RDW and BDW also. It will be having a block descriptor words and all, and record descriptor word also. So that is why if you see here, it is defined as 4 plus n into record length. Okay, and the last one is undefined. It can be in any method. It could be bigger records or smaller records, bigger blocks, smaller blocks. So that's how it ends. So please kindly share, subscribe and like our video. Thank you.